Hello everyone. So it's been like a couple of days since BRM1000, and I did mention that I wanted to talk about it a bit more because there was a lot to unpack for that particular ride. It was a very tough ride, and somehow me and a bunch of guys just made it at the end with just a couple of less than 3 hours to spare. So yeah, well, first of all, I'd like to say that there was a lot of luck involved. Well, some of them is made luck. I'm not sure even that's the right word, but anyway, for example, first thing was the McDonald's near the checkpoint 1. I think at the time my stomach was already quite screwy. I couldn't eat solid foods as usual, so that McDonald's was very important. I think if the McDonald's wasn't there, I didn't stop for porridge, I might have even been looking at another potential DNF. Of course, now that I finished the ride, I can't say, but I can't deny that there was such a possibility. Which brings me to the subject on stomach issues. I think by now I've already spoken to a couple of engineers, and I'm not the only one that, I mean, this stomach thing is not unique to me. I mean, some people also have it. They might say it's too much wind in the stomach, or some other people might say that they push too hard, so the stomach is now too weak to digest. Well, regardless, many reasons, but the result is the same. You can't really eat, or you don't have an appetite to eat solid foods. And I think an important lesson to learn here is to try and find out what works. And luckily I found that out. For my case, it's McDonald's porridge, or more like, it's not really McDonald's porridge per se, it's more like liquid or more watery types of food. So porridge, half-boiled eggs. What else is a possibility? Soup, perhaps, like mushroom soup. So yeah, and of course energy gels, but although I can't carry that many energy gels to sustain me for 3 whole days of riding, so I have to be relatively conservative in regards to that kind of food. So yeah, important lesson is find something that works for you, and just plan out your ride. Look at Google Maps, study the route, and look out for all these potential spots. So that's one very important lesson to learn if you have similar problems such as me. And the other thing was mechanicals. During that third day, broken RD cable. I was very lucky for it to break as we were entering Taiping, because Taiping is a big town. There's a lot of bike shops. I found at least 2 or 3, but the one nearest to the checkpoint was the most important, because priority is to get to the checkpoint first. I was like barely, cutting too close, So if that cable broke somewhere else in the middle of kampung, in the middle of Pedu Lake, wow, that would have been a big problem. A really, really big problem. Might even result in not really a DNF, but more like a out of time, because if I'm stuck in a certain hard gear trying to go through the climbs on Pedu Lake, for example, that's gonna really, really slow me down a lot, and I may not be able to make some checkpoints in time. So that was a very, very lucky break. Of course, I prefer that my RD cable did not break, but such things happen. And I've heard a lot more things happen during this ride. Someone had their saddle broken. Someone else had their wheel, becoming untrue because of a pothole. I think an important lesson to learn here is to make sure you have your bike properly maintained and know how to maintain and do field maintenance and repairs. I mean, of course, every cyclist should already know how to fix puncture, change the inner tube, change the tire itself, as well as a couple of minor things like derailleur adjustments. But you know, sometimes these kind of things just happen, and the more knowledge you have about bike mechanics, the better your chances are of dealing with the problem and continuing with the ride. Like for example, when my Audi cable broke, the Audi, the spring would push everything to the heaviest part of the cassette, which is the smallest bit. So that's a very, very tough part of setting to ride on. So luckily I knew how to adjust the limit screws and like get it into a nicer cassette. Some people also suggested tying the Audi, but depending on your bike and how the Audi is configured, you just trying to tie it might not be practical depending on bike. So it's a good thing that I had the tools, the knowledge to know what to do. So yeah, that's a very good point to get to know your bike, get to know how to do very simple maintenance and repairs. Let's see what else. I think those are the two important lessons or things that I can take away from this ride. Other things, I'll just go around and comment about it. Like, this was the first time I did not shower and bathe for 2 whole days. Wow. You know, originally I didn't even plan to stop at Bayou Hotel on the first night. But it's a good thing that I stopped. Otherwise, I would have not had a shower then, and I would not have a shower for the entire ride. Problem was, I think the second day, all the hotels were either booked or unavailable because of the September 16th Malaysia national holiday. So for some reason, a lot of hotels are all fully booked. I heard from people who managed to go all the way to Taiping on that second night, and even they had trouble finding available hotels there. So yeah, it was a good thing I stopped that first night. Otherwise, wow, I'll be completely smelly and everything. Yeah, anyway, what else was interesting to talk about? Oh, how to deal with sleep. Hey, my first night, of course, first night is not a problem because you ride your first day, then you rest the first night. The second day was okay. The second night, going to the checkpoint at kilometer 600, wow, I was very sleepy. And well, ignoring that because nothing much I can do about that. But on the third day, what I found out was I spend more time doing short naps during breaks. Like if I stop to eat, I take a like 10 to 15 minute nap. I stop at petrol station, 10 to 15 minute nap. That really helped a lot. I wasn't sleepy at all during the entire day of riding. Normally on that third day, sometimes because you've not slept you don't have enough sleep, you start getting drowsy even in the afternoon, while on the bike. But by taking those little 10 to 15 short naps here and there, it actually helped prevent that kind of drowsiness and micro sleeping. And at night, I even learned from some of the randonneurs that I was riding with for that final push to finish, that sometimes if you feel drowsy or anything, you just whack hard, do an all-out sprint, get your heart rate high up, and that kind of helps too. So that was interesting. So actually, during that entire dark rode from Teluk Intan all the way to the finish, we were actually pushing quite a relatively fast pace, and the purpose of that was to actually keep the body pumping, keep the heart pumping, and keep the heart rate high, or at least as high as it can, considering all that fatigue and all that. I couldn't even get my heart rate past 130 even though with a full all-out sprint, you know, it's only at the high 120 somethings, but that still helped a lot. That still helped to kill the drowsiness and prevent the micro sleeping problem that some people have. So yeah, that's an interesting lesson to learn. I mean, so yeah, now I'll definitely be taking all these new concepts, everything I've learned, and carrying them forward to all my future rides. Let's see what else. In terms of my nutrition strategy, bringing energy gels and energy bars, I think that made a very significant impact on my performance. So moving forward, I will definitely be using more energy bars and energy gels to supplement. Okay, I'm actually using them to supplement my food intake during the ride rather than using them exclusively, unless of course my stomach can't take it, then I have no choice. But otherwise, I'm using them to supplement the ride, and that helps a lot. Only thing I didn't do much was take more advantage of the energy bars, which are like, you know, solid chocolate, not really chocolate bars, but solid pieces of food that I can eat. I started taking bars right at the beginning, bite every 10-15 minutes, but once my stomach started developing issues, I kind of stopped with the bars, and I never resumed later on. In retrospect, I think I should have, at least on the second or third day when my stomach was already better, I should have. I think that would have helped with my energy levels, especially during the ride, and I might have been able to finish the ride faster, saving up maybe, I know, a couple of hours. So yeah, of course it's a lot easy to say now after the ride, but you know, rendineering, long distance riding is basically like what they say, it's an eating competition actually. How well you eat is going to translate into how well you ride. So yeah, I think that's just a lot of rambling. I don't really have anything structured to say, so I hope you made some sense into that rambling, and maybe you learned something out of it. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you got something out of it. Please like and subscribe if you did, and I'll see you next time. Bye.